Lachlan Kitchen here for Wednesday the 21st of December. The toll-free number is 800 81003 or on WhatsApp. Join us 0586861003. Well, 12 UAE companies came into the market in 2012 raising close to $11 billion US, and across the wider GCC it's dominated global initial public offerings, known as IPOs, this year, raising about 23%. That's 21 billion of the 91 billion raised in all IPOs worldwide this year. This is a remarkable feat that, when you consider back in 2021, the region accounted for only 2% of the global IPO flow. But what has led to this point? To get more details on this, we are joined by the CEO of Venomex Limited. He's an investor and a financial market expert, Arshad Khan, joining us. Arshad, thanks for your time on Talk 100.3.
My pleasure.
This really is an exceptional statistic when you consider just a year ago, this region, the GCC, had 2% of global IPO flow, and in the last 12 months, they've had nearly 23%. Is this an issue of the GCC countries have been waiting for this year, or is it really a combination of this area having economic growth and traditional markets in Europe and also North America have seen their economies in decline?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a mix of a few factors. Of course, this region is seeing stupendous growth, which we are noticing in especially markets like UAE, Saudi and Qatar with the FIFA World Cup, which has been so successful. So there is, of course, because of oil prices seeing all-time highs in the last few years, we have seen flush of funds coming in the markets, and also the underperformance of the markets in the Europe and the US side has led to this demand surging here.
Yeah, I mean, we look at how much the economy has grown on the back of Expo, on the back of the World Cup. We've seen many people move here with the Ukraine-Russia crisis, and also the idea that there's been far more a reliance on oil from this part of the world compared to the traditionally Russia. Can you see a trend? Have we peaked, or can you see growth continue at these levels?
Yes, of course, growth is continuing. We should continue at these levels, and we should see much more activity, especially in the IPO market in the next year. And I am quite bullish that this year, of course, was more dominated by the government-owned enterprises who came and listed their shares in the public markets. But next year, hopefully, we should see more of private companies coming in and cashing out and making the best use of this opportunity. So hopefully the growth should continue, or it should be much more in the next year.
Do you think there's more of a mission that if there's more IPOs of government companies, it is a great way to share the wealth across people in the UAE?
It is certainly, and see, there is a bit remarkable difference in the way we call a government company here a government company.
Yes.
More like a private company, but at the end of the day, it's more owned by government institutions. But if we look at other jurisdictions, government company there means bureaucratic, red tapeism, and it's like elephants which are not moving. But here, they are much more agile and much more faster than even a private company.
Yeah, I have to agree. Certainly growing up in the West, government institutions were renowned for being sluggish, not having any sort of lean management approaches, essentially too much fat. And when they are privatised, when they do go public, there tends to be a productivity level that really does change the culture of many of the organisations. We've seen some huge companies, for example, DEWA, that have been able to float this year on the stock exchange. Do we know of which major government-backed institutions could be floating next on the stock market?
That are not publicly till we see much have completed their study and have given the recommendation to the government. Like last year, nobody thought that institutions like DEWA or SALIC, they will go public. But yes, I'm very hopeful that, of course, we will see more government companies coming in. But I'm more hopeful that private sector should take a lead, and they should, because that's where the real liquidity and the real fun of running stock markets lies.
And how are you also seeing a change when it comes to people that are doing seed capital and venture capital as a result of this growth that is really in a stark contrast to the West? Are you going to see more and more business and entrepreneurs move to this region as they source capital and source funding?
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that why the businesses are moving in this part of the world. First of all, of course, we are so well connected to all the major financial centers. And then secondly, we are still having a competitive advantage in terms of tax structures. And the third thing is capital repatriation. That is so easy. Like people can bring in money and they can take out money through banks and through other channels. And that makes business so easy and so overperforming. So I think with these, people will come in and move in here, and it will give good opportunity to seed investors or VC firms to, because ultimately for them also they look at an option of exiting through an IPO their investment in any of their startups. So I think this will be another good reason for the VCs also to start putting more attention and more funds in companies which are based out of this region.
Yeah, I think you can see more of a divide over the next 12 months between the Middle East and also even Europe, as many economists do predict most of Europe to be looking towards a recession in 2023. Arshad Khan, the CEO of Venomex Limited, thank you very much for your time and sharing your insights this afternoon.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be on your show.
No, it's great to have you in. So recapping the story, GCC IPOs are expected to keep growing in 2023. That statistic is remarkable. The region accounted for 2% of global IPOs last year, but this year it's accounted for 23%, 21 billion of the 91 billion raised in all IPOs worldwide. Huge statistic. You're on TSB, Talk Sport Business, on Talk 100.3. If you do want to join the conversation, you can. It's 058686 1003.